Good day mga K-Scholar! Welcome to another episode of The Force is Female, featuring stories of PNPA female personnel who played and currently play crucial roles for PNPA. I am Cadet Helena Martelmo, a member of Sandikhain class of 2027. Here we have today is the first ever female regimental commander of PNPA. We have Police Cadet Justin Jane Atiucatay, one of our incredible women from PNPA, here to share her journey, achievement, and what it truly means to serve with a purpose. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Cadet Delma, and good afternoon to everyone.
So, ma'am, can you share to us a little about yourself and your journey dito sa PNPA as a cadet?
So, before I entered the academy, I was actually an undergraduate of Bachelor of Science in Medical Laboratory Science. But before I can talk about it further, I am Cadet Kalbahi, which is both a native from Kabayan, Benguet. My father is from Ifugao and my mother is from Benguet, so I am a full-blooded Cordilleran. And I grew up in a family of farmers, and so my parents instilled in me that the only inheritance that they can give me is education. And as I graduated from senior high school, actually, I have first applied in Philippine Military Academy. On that year, I passed all the phases for application, but then I was not recommended in the dental phase of the application. And out of disappointment, I entered college at the St. Louis University, Baguio, through the course Bachelor of Science in Medical Laboratory Science. And then comes my second year of MedTech. I felt the need that maybe this is really not my call, because I was really feeling something like empty with the course that I was taking. And so I applied again in the Philippine Military Academy. And then I passed the entrance exam, the physical phase, test, medical. But then again, my only compliance is in dental, but I was not able to comply with that. And then life goes on. I was in my third year of MedTech that time, and then comes the COVID pandemic, and our classes are already transformed into online classes. And since then, I think I lost the motivation or the inspiration to continue my studies, because I was really not feeling it. Like, I cannot imagine myself someone like working in the corners of the hospital when I will be a medical professional someday. Although I'm not saying that medical professionals are lesser, something like that. I deeply respect medical professionals. But then I don't see myself as one, because I believe I see myself as someone who really likes adventure or challenges. And so upon scrolling my social media, I came upon the page of PNPA. And I was really intrigued, because at that time, I only know PMA as a service academy, which can offer scholarship benefits like that. And then, without telling my mother, I applied for PNPA. And then I only informed them when I passed the entrance exam. And from that moment, I deeply apologized from my parents that can I pursue this application further, and maybe I can borrow some money so that to finance me for my application. And then I had my everything fixed. I prepared physically, mentally, and then by the grace of God, I am here now.
So, ma'am, you mentioned earlier that you grew up in a family of farmers.
Yes.
So where did that motivation come from? to pursue at the service academy?
I consider farmers as the noblest professionals because they're the backbone of our country. And although I do not see them any way less than any other professionals, my parents instilled in me that we can also serve the country in other ways and in other professions that you will sense your own fulfillment like that. And so, aligning with my aspirations in life, I see myself as someone who can follow the footsteps of my brother, who also entered life as a part of the men in uniform. He's a soldier by profession. And so there is still no PNP in our family. I am still the first.
So now, ma'am, let's go to where you are right now as the first female regimental commander here in the academy. How does it feel to be given that title and to be placed in the history books?
We are now on our final month of stay here in the academy, and still it feels like it still hasn't sink in me that I'm part of the history of the PNP as being the pioneering female regimental commander. But what really struck me first when a tactical officer informed me that I will be having that position in this region, there is that pressure, but then there's also that excitement that do I deserve this or can I do this? But then I was really very thankful for my mentors who were there. Actually, this is a position I aspired during the aspiring phase of the regimental officers. I aspired for this position because of a pep talk from an upperclassman that I originally applied or aspired to become a regimental athletics chairman because I am very much inclined to sports. But then an upperclassman from class 2010 inspired me to break from my shell and aspire for something greater than that, and that's why I aspired for regimental commander at that time. And here I am.
So, ma'am, what were your unsung thoughts the first time you stood in front of the cadet corps bearing the title that you have right now?
Of course, there is that pressure, as I mentioned earlier, because there is this belief that women are really not that accepted in this kind of roles, and of course there are judgments, biases, especially on my height and on your voice. Can you do it? Something like that. There are some like voices that are challenging me. But can I really do this? Isn't it just for men to lead this kind of the cadet corps? The cadet corps, I mean. But then I set aside those thoughts, and then as I heard positive comments from our tactical officers that gave me strength. An upperclassman said that if it's meant for you, it's meant for you. That's why maybe this is given because God has a plan for me. And although not all people believe in me that I can do it, there are still people who support me, and that gave me really the strength to take the challenge, to take the position.
So it is really a big factor, ma'am, having that kind of support.
Yes.
Despite the responsibility that you carry.
Yes.
Now, ma'am, what particular changes did you firmly uplift in your leadership, and in what way do you implement it?
I wouldn't say it's changes, but it's more on improving what was already existing in the cadet corps. For example, like bringing back the basic. For example, in cadet corps formation, the observance of basic decorum. I really implemented or emphasized those things because I believe this is something that the Cadet Corps should never really forget, or because it's an emblem of discipline, which is the purpose of our existence here. We are being disciplined and trained, and that's why we must maintain it.
And also, I believe, ma'am, to add to what you said, these basics are what distinguishes us from other people.
Yes.
And now, ma'am, we all know everyone who holds the highest position are expected to instill discipline, not only within themselves, but also to everyone around. And you've always been strict in stoic, but were there times that you imagined yourself completely different from what others were seeing you do?
Yes, actually, ever since when I was still a civilian, others see me as someone who is stoic really and strict. But then, if people get to know me, I'm actually really approachable and easygoing. But then, I guess that kind of first impression is very helpful in my position, because it somehow has an effect on the Cadet Corps that I am being strict and stoic in the eyes of others kind of was advantageous on my position, because it helps on bringing out an aura of being a person who is not easily trampled on.
And ma'am, if destiny didn't persist that you hold this position, what would have become of Cadet First Class Justin Jing Calpay?
I believe if I did not take this position, as I've said a while ago, I aspired for a position on being the regimental athletics chairman. So if I had that position before, maybe I have had implemented projects more on the implementation or improvement of our sports here in Cadet Corps, because I am a firm believer that physical conditioning or exercise is not a punishment, but a celebration of what your body can do.
And now, ma'am, let us proceed to your personal characteristics. From whom does your resilience and bravery to lead stem from?
Resilience and bravery. Only one person will always come out from my mind, and that would be no other than my mother. My mother is my greatest inspiration in life. She is an emblem of strength for me and dedication, despite all the struggles in life. She has strongly raised us into who we are today. We're four siblings, and I believe we have all taken the resiliency, the resilient characteristics of our mother. And I also recognize the contributions of the trailblazers in our academy, which by destiny, they were also, at the same time with me as the first female PNP regimental commander, we've also had our first female commandant of cadets and first female dean of academics. They really are my source of inspiration, and they really inspire me to reach new heights, break barriers, especially in the career of law enforcement.
So now, ma'am, seeing women take the lead these days, as we have mentioned earlier, it is by destiny that you were one of the persons who are given the title of the first regimental commander, or first commandant of cadets, and the first dean of academics. So now, ma'am, how do you view this progress in terms of leadership, and why do you think women are capable of leading?
I view this as something like not just a personal achievement for each one of us, but this is a statement that the Academy has really recognized women empowerment, especially in our person. And I believe what separates or what is the edge of female leaders is that they have this creative, compassionate, and collaborative approach to leadership.
Now, ma'am, in what way can you influence young women to bravely carve a path of their own?
My advice to young women is for them to be true to themselves. They must blur out the noise and expectations from everyone, because we are not born to please everyone. If we stay true to ourselves, be genuine to ourselves, we can listen to our hearts, what we really desire. And so we can pursue professions that will really answer the why of our life, the purpose of our existence. And the most important thing is, as women, we're not being stuck to take the risk or face challenges. Because when you take risk and face challenges, you are coming out from your comfort zone. And then from that moment, you are not even aware that you are creating your own story.
So I also agree with you, ma'am, that we are not born to please everyone, and people will always say things, but we must always stick to our why. So now, ma'am, you didn't only break the barrier to leadership, but as well as the stereotypes among women. So to anyone who does not know, Police Cadet Calpaje is the third PNPA female silent drill officer, aside from being the first regimental commander. And she has also won several awards in marathon, including being champion under the 10-kilometer category during Rotoran this morning.
Yeah,
congratulations on your achievement.
I came from a marathon just this morning, although that was only 10 kilometers.
But still, ma'am, you were still able to bag the gold and bring home the bacon.
Actually, there's no goal, but then, yeah, a lot of us PNPA cadets garnered the awards this morning for the Rotoran.
And you also mentioned earlier, ma'am, that you are really sports inclined. If you were not able to claim the title of being the regimental commander, you will be the regimental athletic chair. And now, ma'am, how does these sports help you to get through a challenging life inside that war?
One of the negative connotations of young applicants here is that they are doubting if they can overcome the rigorous physical conditioning in the academy, and that's why some are really backing out. But then for me, even when I was a civilian, running has always been a sanctuary for me. It's a way for me to clear my mind, to process my emotions, and to recharge myself. As opposite to those other people see it as an activity, which is just exhausting yourself. But then for me, through running, I recharge myself. And yeah, as the famous quote goes, that yeah, running as an exercise is not a punishment. It's a celebration of what your body can do.
So I agree with you, ma'am, that's a good point of view with regards to the physical activities here, and to see that as a blessing and as an outlet to get through life here in the cadet.
Yes.
Now, ma'am, can you give us a motivation or your message to our aspiring cadets or those who want to join the long maroon line in this institution? So can you give us a message?
My message to all aspiring youth who want to enter PNPA is that life in the academy is not easy. I will not sugarcoat it. But if you are that person who who wholeheartedly would like to live his or her life in the service of others, then you are worthy to become a scholar ng bayan and be part of the long run life. Because that's the reality. If you want to enter a career in law enforcement, you will have less time for your family, less time for yourself. But then, your life will be meaningful because your life will be lived in the service of the Philippines.
Thank you very much for giving us your time, ma'am. And we truly appreciate you sharing your story and experiences with us. And I know na sa ating mga manonood, marami ang na-inspire sa inyong mga salita ngayong araw na ito. So, and with that, we conclude our interview for today. Thank you for joining us. And to our viewers, stay connected with us by following our official Facebook page, PNPA Multimedia Club, and PNPA Justice, Integrity, and Service. Again, this is Cadet Nino Hardalmo, ang inyong iskolar para sa bayan. Good day and may God bless us all.